So, good afternoon. Welcome everybody to our Halves Presentation. We have project weTheme, and my name is Mari Binish. I'm the team producer.
I'm Wendy Park, the lead artist for Static Experience.
I'm Philip Kanvaria, 3D and 2D artist.
I'm Lanjo, lead artist for Interactive Experience.
I'm Antonio Gomes, programmer and technical director.
And my name is Ashlyn Scarl, and I'm the experience designer.
And our client is the Madeira theme park that is located in the other side of the island, in the North Shore. And as you can see, it takes a long time to go there and coming back, about 1 hour driving. And in the theme park, there's a 4 screens experience which has not been given any new content for the last couple of years. Because of this fact, we've been proposed to create new experiences for this space. And this space is a 64 square meter space, or 700 square feet, where there's a bridge that goes across the entire pavilion, as you see top view. People come in from one door, stand in the bridge during the experience, and then come out from the other side. The 4 walls work as giant screens where people can see content. For our project demographics, we selected 9 to 12-year-old kids because they are one of the main visitors group from the theme park. And 3 weeks ago, we presented 7 concepts for this space in our Halves Presentation, where we got valuable feedback to narrow down these concepts and for us to define our final deliverable. And from this feedback, we also got 4 major points: to not rely on easily breakable technology, to embrace the 4 screens, to embrace our skills, and to embrace the bridge exactly as it is. Furthermore, we could define our concepts into 2. One animation called the Journey of a Scabbard, in Portuguese, Jornada do Peixe-Espada, and the second interactive Ilha Musical, which is Musical Island, for which we propose to create 2 working demos, and now Monique is going to explain the animation.
The Journey of the Scabbard Fish is a 3-minute animation that shows the story of the scabbard fish, its life, for the backward sequence of events. We chose to tell a story about the scabbard fish because it's the symbol of Madeira Island, and also Madeira is one of the only 2 places in the world that captures the scabbard fish. The artistic inspiration for this animation comes from cutout illustration and also the hand drawing style animation. With this animation inspiration, we created the main character swim cycle. Through this experience, the people will better understand what the scabbard fish is coming from and also be more familiar with the Madeiran product. And the story will begin in the dinner table to its birth. In the pavilion, people will have a fun, exciting time following the story around the 4 giant screens. The kids can also learn where the food came from. In order to achieve this animation, we begin by storyboarding. The storyboard shows the sequence of stories as well as the assets, where the assets will be in each 4 screens. With the storyboards, we created an animatic which shows the timing of the character movements and the better understanding of the frames. So the story begins in the dinner table where the kid is eating the scabbard fish, and it shows how it has been cooked. And it also shows where the scabbard fish came from. By mother's hand to the fish market. And the fish forms back to life, back to fishermen catching the fish. Before the fisherman caught the fish was chased by the shark. And the fish was more chased by the shark. It was his life. But also, he fell in love with his lover. In the end, the new baby scabbard fish is born, indicating the new start. Now, Pedro will talk more about our art assets.
Thank you. So, in terms of art assets, we were creating an underwater world, so we had to create several objects. So we created different types of rocks and choral structures in order to give the illusion of depth and movement, and also to portray more truthfully the underworld life. But we didn't just do static objects. We also did moving objects like schools of fishes, the shark that attacks the scabbard, and the scabbard itself, which was hand-drawn frame by frame with the light box in order to get that paper cut style. But not everything is about the visuals, so we also added sound. We added background music with whales sound on it, bubble sounds, and also water sounds, in order to fully immerse the audience, and also to allow us to pinpoint and actually accent certain parts of the animation. Now I'm going to show you a scene demo. The top screen is a strip of the actual framing, and the bottom is to give you an idea of how it would look like if you were inside the screen, the film. Now, we also organized a user test with children ages 8 to 10. And going into the user test, we were trying out some risks because we were showing what we had done thus far. We wondered if they would understand the message and if they would think our story was engaging enough and ultimately fun. And our results showed us that some of them understood the story, but unfortunately they couldn't describe it by themselves. Others thought the story was confusing and didn't understand anything about it. But ultimately, all of them actually enjoyed the shark sequence. And now to talk to you about our interactive experience, here's Ashley.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to our interactive experience called Alien Musical. It is an experience where the guests will be able to interact with traditional modern dance, songs, and music. To keep this project within our scope, we're creating a prototype using 4 users, and they will be using a kiosk. So these kiosks are sensors, and each sensor will represent one instrument, and by tapping, it will produce a sound. So the gameplay corresponds with the kiosk. The color of the sensor will match the color of the screen, and each guest will be given a musical instrument that flows down the path. When it flows down the path, they must tap on the kiosk and produce a sound, and they will gain points. Failure to do so will result in losing points. So in essence, what we're creating is a music game. And so what we did was we looked at other music games that are already out in the market or have already been created. We looked at Parappa the Rapper, we looked at Guitar Hero, we looked at Dance Dance Revolution, and we looked at a mini game in Kingdom Hearts 2. We analyzed what we liked and what we didn't like about it, and from it we have decided to take with us the fact that we want to make sure that we give audio and visual feedback to our guests. We want to create a circular feedback system so that they complement one another. The second thing that we wanted to do was make sure that we don't actually fail the children. We want them to just focus on the fun, focus on the excitement of it. So what we also decided to do was to entice them to come back and play, was to also include a team score and show that at the end, but also show them an individual score. So because music is one of the most important aspects of this gameplay, we decided to choose Bailino de Madeira, one of the most traditional songs in Madeira, and it also has a very upbeat rhythmic sound. And from that, our instruments are all percussion instruments from Madeira. So now Ju will talk about our art assets.
So, the art concept of a musical can be explained based on 3 purposes: demographic, visual aspects, and the theme Madeira. Since our target audience is children, we created the fun cartoony style with the line drawing. And with that style, we were able to add effective animations into the visual. And also, our song is about the beauty of Madeira, which is the theme of the theme park as well. So we visualize Madeira buildings in a way that can relate to our demographic. Now we are going to show our short film.
So in our demo, each one of the small screens actually represents one of the big screens at our prototype or at the theme park. In here, we already implemented the basic gameplay for each one of the screens. We have the visual feedback and audio feedback for both wrong case and right case. If you get it wrong, you will get a red sign and blue sound, and if you get it right, as you will be able to see briefly in the left screen, you will get the positive feedback. Next, we intend to implement the physical interaction by giving them a dance tutorial that they will have to perform in the chorus part of the song.
In order to have better understanding of the risk that we were facing, we had our first user test. We had to check whether it could lead our users' interests and it is understandable about how to join our experience. And as a result, we could get lots of useful feedback. Most of all about the gameplay, they not only could understand well, but also even said it was too easy. So we are thinking we can add more challenges through level design process. For example, switching positions or dancing together with the part of it. In addition, they were engaged pretty well, but some of them answered they don't like Madeira traditional song that much. But it didn't influence on our process, but it made us hope that through our better content, we can offer the chance to love their traditional song more. And about the art aspect, they answered they wanted to see more colors and variety, and now we are in the process of developing art aspects. And Antonio will talk about our art aspect.
So until the beginning of week 6, we didn't have any technology. So we had to work on our creative process through brainstorming and paper prototyping. But finally last week our technology arrived. However, we couldn't stop the creative process, so we had to prioritize the needs of the team and we have to set up accordingly. Fortunately, the process went very smoothly, and within 3 days we went from not having any technology to a fully working project, and that allowed us to develop all the art assets and all the programming that you can see in both the animatics and gaming demos that we showed you today. In order to test our concepts, we are building some prototypes: a 4-screen structure, a camera rig to shoot panoramic video, a kiosk to interact with the 4 screens, and ultimately a light box to help our animators to draw. As for our 4-screen structure, we are using a custom wheel frame and 4 short throw projectors that will allow us to replicate the actual building in the Madeira theme park here at the University of Madeira, so we don't have to go back and forth to test our concepts and play tests with our users. We are also developing a portable version of it using a computer and 4 LCD screens attached, which will allow us to play tests outside of the university. As for our interactive kiosk, the interaction is accomplished by tapping into each one of the colors represented in the screen, and each of the colors represent one individual screen of our structure. For the Madeira theme park, we envision the kiosk to be separated into buttons that can be placed in the railings of the bridge. One of our deliverables for this project was to create a camera rig that would allow us to shoot panoramic video. So we created a rig that can place 4 cameras 90 degrees apart from each other, and we also wrote a script in Panda that will allow us to run those files simultaneously in a 4-screen setup. And ultimately, in order to facilitate the transitions of the animations and the line drawing style, we also created the live ones. And now Ashton will talk about the challenges.
So this semester we had a lot of challenges that we had to face. The first one being our half presentations that we actually started 2 weeks after the Pittsburgh campus. So we're on our week 7, they're on their week 9, but we are coinciding our schedules together. Our second problem was the fact that we had no technology. and that we also didn't have a project room. We also didn't have a programmer. We are a design-heavy team, so we had to ask a first year to also help us design and program. Also, we ran into problems with user testing since our demographics was children. We had to get permission from their parents, of course, and also school systems. Lastly, for quarter presentations, we were told that we were very behind on schedule, so what we had to do was gather together, prioritize ourselves, and move twice as fast. So to determine our success for this semester, we focused on 3 things. The children, are they engaged, are they having fun, and will they want to come back for user testing and want to go to the theme park for this opportunity, this experience. We also looked at the theme park. We would like it if they actually implemented this project, and also to continue this partnership with FEMA. Lastly, ourselves. This is our first project, so we want to be better prepared for next semester. So here's our schedule. We're currently in Halves, and we are going strong for development. We have all our assets ready. We actually organized and itemized all our deliverables for the interactive, non-interactive experience, and also started our process documentation so that any other student who wants to create content for the theme park knows how to go about doing that. So special thanks to the parents, the children, as well as Coach Shen for helping us with all of our problems. And that concludes our presentation. So feel free to ask us any questions. And if you don't have any questions now, you can feel free to email us later or check us out.